Having a soft life isn't lazy. It's just threatening to the people who profit from your burnout. The truth is, having a soft life isn't lazy. It's living more intentionally, choosing the things that support you emotionally, physically, mentally, but most importantly, keeping yourself away from the things that drain you, even the people that do. In this video, I'm going to go over what it looks like and what it looks like for me to actually live a soft life and things you can do to actually start living in your soft life era. Okay, so let's clarify something. Let's go over the things that the soft life is not. First, the soft life is not about avoiding your problems or your responsibilities. It's not about escaping your problems, but most importantly, it's not about being unambitious. But the soft life isn't lazy. It's about choosing the battles that you want to fight, staying away from the things that drain you, but most importantly, setting those boundaries that's going to make you live your life more intentionally. To be honest, before I decided to go in my soft life era, I was constantly hustling. I was constantly people pleasing, and I hit burnout. But I thought, being productive all the time made me successful. I thought that saying yes to everyone made me a good person. And I thought that, constantly being busy and sacrificing my rest was just necessary. But I realized having a soft life doesn't mean that you have to give up your rest. It doesn't mean you have to become a selfish person. And this is what I actually equated a soft life to being, is being selfish. Giving up the things that really mean well to you, being very selfish to other people. But I realized wanting rest isn't lazy. Wanting peace isn't selfish. It's about being intentional and really focusing on my mental, physical, and emotional well-being. And that's why I chose a soft life. And that's why I chose to live in my soft life era, because I realized it's not about pleasing others. It's not about being successful or making people think I'm successful. It's about living more intentionally for my well-being. So how do you know you're truly embracing your soft life? Here's some signs that you might be in that era. The first sign is you're going to start saying no without the guilt. And this was a hard one for me, because in the beginning, when I started practicing saying no, the guilt came immediately. And it's because I realized I wasn't setting boundaries. And that was the biggest thing why I felt the guilt, because I wasn't used to setting boundaries, whether it was myself, with other people, with different situations. But with anything, you have to practice it. And it's just like, building a muscle, especially going into the gym, you have to do it over and over again to really build it. It's the same way. You have to really practice setting your boundaries so you can start to feel comfortable with it, so that no becomes a full sentence, but it also becomes a full sentence you're comfortable with. The second sign is you spend time alone without feeling lonely. And this one I had to put in play when I started going on solo dates, because at one point I wanted to have these experiences with people, whether it was friendships or relationships, but I wasn't giving myself the experience. So I took the time to actually go on dates by myself, spend time with myself. And I'm not going to lie, in the beginning, it was a little nerve-wracking, because you're kind of stuck with your own thoughts and entertaining yourself, which is very interesting. But eventually you start to see that living in the moment and doing the things that make you happy, or discovering things that make you happy, you start to realize how much self-confidence you build from that. And the time by yourself doesn't feel lonely anymore. It kind of evolves, and it also gives you a sense of peace, a sense of well-being, and just living in the moment. The next sign you might see is you start letting go of toxic relationships that don't serve you anymore. And a lot of the times I realized I was holding on to these relationships because I felt like I had to fix it, or I had to do something for it to progress, or maybe I needed to change myself to fix the situation, when I realized I'd done everything I could in that relationship. And if it isn't going to get fixed, it's probably not going to get fixed in the future, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I stopped fighting the battles that weren't meant for me, and I started letting go of the things that were just not giving me peace. And toxic relationships are one of those things I really had to let go. Number 4, you start to prioritize rest and self-care as non-negotiables. This one was an eye-opener, because I actually didn't realize how tired and how neglected I was to myself. The fact that I wasn't giving myself enough rest, I wasn't taking care of myself, whether that was internally or externally. And when I started doing it, I could see the changes physically in how I felt, in how I carried myself throughout the day, but also how I showed up for other people. And that's a lot of the times what people don't realize, putting yourself in the soft life era, it allows you to show up a lot better, not just for yourself, but also the people around you as well. The last one you might start to experience is that you start to choose experiences that feel good to your soul and not necessarily for what people might think. So like for your image. And that could be things you start to do where it's like, it's good experiences for you that you want to take on, and you want to do things that maybe someone might judge you for it, but it makes you feel good. And that is one of the biggest signs. When you stop worrying about what people think, is also one of the biggest signs that you've actually stepped into your soft life era. The soft life is very subtle. It's not flashy. It's about feeling a little bit more aligned. It's about feeling calmer, lighter, and just more centered in your everyday life. So why do you get that empowering effect from having a soft life? There's a couple reasons why. The first reason, it gives you more clarity. Clarity in making the decisions that you need to make without the influence of others, or without the expectations of others, or what you think others might think of you. And these decisions now come from more of a place where it's really meant for you, and it's really meant for the betterment of you, because you truly make those decisions from a place of what is going to benefit you. I just had a hiccup there. I haven't had a hiccup in so long. But yeah, you choose those decisions and you make those decisions from a place of well-being and not from a place of people-pleasing. Another reason why it's empowering is it gives you the strength to set boundaries. You start to set boundaries from people and environments that drain you, which we normally tolerate. But when we start to live our soft era, we start to realize that energy is so important, and it's not meant to be given to everyone or every situation or every environment. Sometimes you need to reserve your energy and protect it. It's even more important is protecting your energy, because your energy is what gives you the drive. It's what gives you life on a day-to-day basis. And it's very precious. So you start to set boundaries around that energy and step away from the things and the people that drain you. Another empowering thing that, living in your soft life gives you is the freedom to say yes to the things that align with you and no to the things that doesn't. It gives you that sense of feeling unapologetic about what you want to do, your goals, or just how you want to live your life. But most importantly, you start to gain confidence. You start to trust yourself even more. You trust your decisions. You know that your peace is the most important thing that you can prioritize. When you embrace the soft life, you start acting out of alignment and out of, your own well-being, instead of a place from people pleasing or fear or obligations. And that is really where the empowerment comes from. Sometimes people associate the soft life with giving up, with being lazy, with just being very unintentional. But the truth is, the soft life actually takes courage. It takes a lot of strength to actually say no to the things that drain you. It takes a lot of discipline to actually stick with your boundaries and setting those boundaries. In reality, the soft life actually takes a lot of courage to implement without the judgment, but also stick with it, to understand that, you can prioritize rest. You can trust yourself more to know when it's time to work, it's time to, invest more time, and when it's time to take a break. It's not laziness, it's just really living your life with so much more intention. If you're ready to live your soft life, here are some things you can actually start doing. First, audit your energy. Really take a note of what drains you on a day-to-day basis, but most importantly, what excites you and give you energy on a day-to-day. Second, set boundaries. Understand the things you will not tolerate and put those boundaries in place. Third, prioritize your rest and your joy. You have to understand when it's time to actually slow down and relax. Fourth step, protect your mental and your emotional state. You have to limit the negative energy that comes around you on a day-to-day basis. The fifth and last step is to align your choices with your values. You have to start making choices based on who you want to be, not based on how other people think you should be. But remember, this isn't a one-time change. It's a mindset shift and it's a lifestyle change. So you have to continuously work at it in order to get better at it in the future. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. Your soft life isn't lazy or passive. It's intentional. It's choosing peace and relaxation over the chaos. It's choosing to really implement the highest form of self-respect. It doesn't have to be flashy. It just needs to feel good to your soul. Subscribe if you're, living intentionally and prioritizing self-respect and growth in your 30s. So this video can get to the women who are doing the same thing and we can build this community. But until next time, ladies, thank you so much for watching. Bye.